Hey, you guys. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. So, this week's episode of Teen Mom, the next chapter just aired, and it was a really interesting episode. It's where all the cast members, well, most of the cast members, and their kids met up in New York to film the uh, anniversary of Teen Mom because it was the 16-year anniversary of the show, which meant a lot of the kids were either 16, just turned 16, or would be turning 16 very soon. So production had the cast members fly out to New York along with their kids, and everyone met up and had a good time. And it was a really cool episode. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I'm hearing Gary and Tyler talk, and then just kind of talking about, Tyler talking about the situation with Carly, and Gary trying to, give him maybe a little bit of advice, and maybe even say, like, Gary's like, is there anything that you guys do that, like, maybe could bother Carly, and he's like, I don't know, like they're not communicating with us. But then we saw Catelynn and Maci talk to Leah about Amber, which is a really interesting kind of dynamic because Leah has set this boundary where she wants nothing to do with her mom. She hasn't spoke to her mom, hasn't seen her mom, but you have Maci and Caitlin, who they are like BFFs with her mom, and they defend her mom, and they are the first to fly to Amber's side when something's going wrong with Amber, which is kind of something that I've always like kind of thought about. Like, okay, Leah feeling the way that she feels about her mom, and then you have Caitlin and Maci that defends her. I just always kind of wondered like where they would stand when they were talking to Leah. Like, how would they feel hearing Leah say her feelings, knowing that they, support Amber wholeheartedly. So, anyways, a very interesting episode. I literally just finished it because my internet kept going in and out, in and out, in and out, but I finally got it finished. We're going to talk about it. We're going to watch the clip. But let's just kind of back it up a little bit, just kind of remind us of how things have been before we get to watch the clip. We will watch the clip where Caitlin asks Leah how things have been, how long has it been since you talked to your mother, and Leah tells her, the last time I saw my mom was when you guys came down and like forced my mom to come over. And Leah tells them that she's done. And she says that she feels like her mom is fake. And she also says, and this is not what my dad wants. My dad's not the bad guy. My dad's not keeping me from my mom. So we're going to watch that. Before we get into it, we're just going to take a little journey back to kind of remind us how things have been, basically since she gave birth, and how it's been this bad situation, or like Amber really not trying since very early on, right? So as we all know, Amber, she gave birth to her daughter Leah. Amber was 18 years old. So she was young, and that could be used as an excuse for a lot of people, like, oh, I was young, didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, she gave birth when she was 18 years old, and Leah's birthday is November 12th, 2008. Now, when Leah was just 2 years old, Amber would be arrested on felony DV charges. And this was Amber's first arrest after having Leah. And this was following an episode of Teen Mom airing showing Amber physically assaulting Gary. And this happened in front of their daughter, Leah. Let me make sure you guys can kind of see this. I put up a little slideshow just to kind of bring you guys back as to how things have been with them in the past. So let's see, she was 2 years old. Leah was just 2 years old the first time her mother was arrested. She was under the age of 2 when she started witnessing her mom. Maybe she didn't know exactly what was happening. I'm sure she didn't. I'm sure, when her mom was yelling and screaming at her dad and raising her fist to her dad, she didn't know at 2 years old or at 1.5 exactly what was going on. But I've come to learn that when things happen to us as a baby, even though if we don't fully understand it, it does still cause trauma, ironically enough. And that was something that I didn't understand. But very early on, Amber was assaulting Gary, and that happened in front of their daughter, Leah. Amber would go on to get arrested again December 2011 when Leah was just 3 years old. Amber was arrested when her probation officer showed up at her house and found several prescription pills at her house that Amber did not have a prescription for. Amber served a month in jail off that charge. She got a plea deal And that plea deal included her going into a drug rehab program. Amber would actually drop out of that program May 2012 after failing a urine test. She decided she would opt out of her plea deal and take the 5-year prison sentence that she was supposed to take, that she was going to get. So when she was initially arrested, um, she was going to get 5 years, but she took that plea deal, right? Well, then when she failed her drug test, she decided, well, I'll just take the 5 years. And at that point, May 2012, Gary received full custody of Leah. Leah was 4 years old. So from day one, it has just been nonsense and trauma and chaos in Leah's little life. So when Leah was just 4 years old, her dad got custody of her. Now, on June 13, 2012, Amber began serving her 5-year sentence due to good behavior and due to the fact that she received her GED. She was released from jail after serving only 16 months. So she was sentenced to 5 years. She served 16 months. After Amber was released from jail after spending 16 months away from her daughter, she tried to work on her relationship with Leah. Now, by this time, Gary had already started dating his now wife, Christina, and Christina and Leah had already a pretty close relationship because Gary started dating Christina. Christina ended up moving in, and Christina did everything for Leah. You know, she brushed her hair, and they hung out, and she took her to school, and so they had a very close relationship. By the time Amber got out of jail and was trying to work on her relationship with Leah. However, Leah was still like very excited when her mom got out of jail. I remember that episode. She was super excited. Also, episodes after that where Amber would show up to pick Leah up, and Gary would say, "I'm going to go answer the door. Your mom's here," and Leah would say, "No, I got it. I'll go answer the door." You know, so she still yearned, you know, to have this relationship with her mom, and she still really cared about her mom and looked at her mom as, you know, her mom. Now, throughout the years, Gary and Christina would try desperately to maintain a good co-parenting relationship with Amber. Amber would go through multiple divorces, multiple relationships, not divorces. She was never married, but she would go through multiple relationships. And at the time that she was in some of these relationships, she would do well with visits during some of the relationships. The most stable Amber seemed to be was when she was dating Matt Byer, which is kind of ironic because, you know, he's not the best guy and he has a lot of kids that he's not a part of their life. But when Amber was with him, she seemed to get Leah on a more consistent basis. And Leah would even go on to tell Gary that when she would go spend time at her mom's house, that it was actually with Matt, and that her mom would usually stay in bed until, you know, late, very late. Hold on, fly on the wall. Why are you putting number 39? That was my son's football number, so that's really interesting. So anyways, yeah, she would tell her dad, you know, she was like, you know, I go to mom's house and I'm usually hanging out with Matt because my mom sleeps all day. As years passed, Amber continued to go through relationships. She was with Andrew. She got pregnant, had another baby, struggled with her mental health issues. And according to Amber, that was the reason that she would go weeks without seeing her daughter, Leah, due to her mental health. You know, at times not able to get out of the bed, whatever. Now, throughout these years, you know, they're on the show, they're on Teen Mom. So these episodes are airing, episodes showing Gary voicing his frustration to his wife, Christina, about Amber's lack of participation in Leah's life, which caused Amber to, at several times, jump on social media. Wow. Okay. So because Amber will watch these episodes where Gary, you know, would say, "Oh, well, you know, she only seen her 3 times this summer. Like, what the heck?" Amber would watch those episodes where Gary and Christina were talking, and then she would jump on an IG live or a TikTok live, and she would bash Gary and Christina, which was harmful to Leah because Leah was so close to her dad and her stepmom that hurt her feelings. Years passed, and Amber and Leah's relationship continued to drift further and further apart the older that Leah got because Amber would go, you know, days, weeks, months without seeing Leah, without reaching out to Leah. She would miss things for Leah, like Leah's homecoming. According to what was reported, Amber was invited. Hey, Leah's got homecoming. Come over, we'll take pictures. She did not show up. There was times where they invited her to birthday parties. She did not show up. So this obviously caused Leah to feel, abandoned by her mom. And despite the fact that Amber was not participating and trying to be a mom, despite the fact that, she was being invited to things, she was not coming. And Amber even said this on a TikTok live a while back. She said that she was still getting to have dinners at Gary and Christina's house where she could see Leah, but she said she did not like that anymore. That she felt like, that's my daughter. I should be able to take her to my house. I should be able to spend the weekend with her. I should be able to do all these things with her. I shouldn't have to, see my daughter only if I go to her dad's house. I don't like that. So she said she told Gary that she wanted to have Leah come stay the weekend with her and go take Leah to do things. And Gary told her no. So she said it was at that point that she stopped going to the dinners, stopped going to Gary's house to have dinners with Leah. But the thing about it is it wasn't that was Gary telling her no. Gary knew that Leah did not want that. Gary knew, because, it's even on the show. Leah has said several times, I only want to see her like here. Like, I don't want to go off with her. So Amber went so many, months at a time without seeing Leah. And it seems like, the times that she would see her every so often, it was when the cameras were there. And that's something that Leah is going to say on this clip that we're going to watch. Leah is now speaking up about her relationship with her mom, how she feels about her mom, and how she feels about her mom blaming her dad. She says in this clip that we watched, wow, what's that for? I don't know. She says in this clip that we're going to watch that it was not her dad's fault, that it's not fair that her dad's been blamed for, her not wanting a relationship with her mom, but that it was her decision. And also at the end of the episode, I do know they show a clip for next week's episode where Leah types up a message telling her mom that she doesn't want a relationship with her. Or I think that's what it's going to say, that she no longer cares to try or something. And what's so crazy is in the trailer, we'll watch it. Gary says something along the lines of Leah's been wanting to send this text to Amber. She types the text up, sends it, and then Amber is like, what is Leah doing messaging me? And I'm like, that's weird. When as a mom, you see a text message show up from your daughter, and the first thing you say is, what is my daughter doing messaging me? My kids message me 24/7. If they don't message me, I'm going to wonder why. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that tells you there just how much they went without talking. But let's go ahead, let's watch the clip, because it was so interesting to see Leah. And I hope it made Maci and Catelynn click. Like, I hope it made them click to them. Like, we defend her. And she is a crap mom. Look at what she's done to her daughter. So let's go ahead, let's watch it.
How have you been?
Good. Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
So update me on life. When's the last time you've seen your mother?
I
heard you haven't seen her since me and Maci have been out
yeah,
there.
that was it.
Like about 9 months.
9 months. Leah is 16 years old. Amber does not have a regular job. She films for the show a few months out of the year. And even while she's filming, there's times she cancels on them. What is she doing? What? This makes no sense to me. Let's continue. I have to stop and commentate on it because they're going to get me. I already know Paramount is going to block this video. I'm going to have to appeal it. So it will go down, and in a couple of days it'll come back up. But yeah, she says it's been 9 months since she saw her mom.
Did she ever reach out to you on her own, like text, calls, anything like that?
She reached out to me one time when she found out I had asthma.
She reached out to me one time when she found out I had asthma. And, you have Amber, that goes live on TikTok all the time that says, I'm a good mom. I'm a good mom. I'm a good mom. No, good moms don't reach out to their children just because they found out they have asthma or just because, something's wrong with them, or just because the cameras are there. Good moms are checking in with their kids every day if their kids don't live with them. The fact that she said, oh, a while back because she heard I had asthma. What, girlfriend? That is so sad for Leah. Leah's 16 years old. Praise God for Christina, honestly. Could you guys imagine if Gary, would have been single for many years or would have found, a trash bag like Janelle or something? You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness.
She is one of our friends, but me and Maci have told her if she wanted to ever have a relationship with you that she needed to start showing consistency.
I'm just kind of like done because it's too much on me if she comes around like every year, once or twice, and then
It's funny that, Maci and Catelynn told her when they did come, they said, you just need to be consistent. And Amber said, I feel like I'm bothering her. And they said, bother her. Bother her. And that's really what those kids want. Amber at the time said, oh, well, I'll message her and she won't message back. Keep messaging. Because if you give up that easy, Amber, like if you text your daughter like 2-3 days in a row and she don't respond back and you just say, okay, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. You are giving up on the child you brought into this world. You can't continue reaching out for months to show her like, well, I'm not going to give up. This poor 16-year-old child who her own mom gave up on her. Her own mom would not continue trying to talk to her, continue reaching out to her, continue to try to build a relationship with her. And then, Amber's like, I'm a good mom.
acts like everything's perfect and tells me that she loves me and hugs me and stuff. Like, I can't do that.
Do you find it like
It's
painful, or do you find it
like you don't text me, you don't see me, and then when you do see me, for purposes of there being a camera in your face, you try to act like you're the best mom ever. I don't hate
Fake. That is Leah's wise. And Caitlin's going to tell her this in a minute about how, Caitlin had her struggles with her mom, and it took her becoming an adult to realize it and see it and set boundaries with her mom. But here you have this 16-year-old who sees what's happening here. She sees and she understands that her mom does not reach out unless someone's pushing her to reach out or unless there's a camera in her face. And she's like, I am done. I will not, be used by Amber. I will not let Amber use me to make her look like a good mom when she can go 6 months without talking to me. But when the cameras come around, she's showing up at my house, introducing me to her new boyfriend. Not going to let that happen.
her. And I understand that she has her own issues to deal with, and it makes it difficult. But I just can't handle it myself.
right?
She tells people that we have a good relationship, and I think she thinks that it's my dad's fault. So I kind of want to clear that up because it's not fair for her to blame.
I love that Leah's like, she blames my dad, and I want to clear that up. I love that. Leah, she's 16. Pretty soon she'll be 18. And she may have, she has her own social media, but she may get to the point where she will start going live and she may be, I'm not saying she will, but it's a big possibility. While you have Amber over there, and it's so wild because you have people like Amber and Janelle, and they have people come in their lives and they're like, you're a great mom. Like, we love you. You're doing so much better. I look up to you. Like, I suffer from X, Y, and Z too. And you give me strength, and I'm just like, what? Amber has these people over there. Somebody even commented on my Facebook page today saying, why does everybody give Janelle such a hard time? And I'm like, do you see what I see? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, oh, she just went through a lot when she was young, when she's overcome it. That was like the comment, something along those lines. And I'm like, you're missing a whole lot of information, right? Because Amber, Janelle, they go on their social media pages and they say all these things to make all these people that's watching them believe that they try so hard. And the only reason maybe they don't have a better relationship is not because of them or anything they're doing, it's because of their baby daddies. It's because their moms, Barbara or Gary. It's not their fault. They're working hard and they're, they've overcome a lot of trauma to get to where they're at today. And they're trying to be great parents. You have these people that believe them and that sing their praises. And I'm like, if Leah gets to the point where she's 18, she wants to go live and she wants to say, it was not my dad. It was her. What kind of mom goes 6 months without texting her daughter, without asking to see her daughter? What kind of mom only comes around when her friends fly in and tell her, you need to go see your daughter? Or when the cameras show up? What kind of mom does that? You know? I love that she's like, I want to set that straight. It was not my dad.
My dad for something that I want. My dad, like, he's always tried to, like, push me to have a relationship. He convinced me to invite her to my birthday. And so we did, and then she didn't even show up.
There's the clip of that. I'm going to kind of skip that, but this is where he's asking, who do you want to invite to your birthday party? And she names a few people, and he's like, well, what about your mom? And she's like, no, I don't want to invite my mom. She's like, no. And he was like, you really need to invite your mom. Like, it's going to hurt her feelings. He literally said, it's going to hurt her feelings if you don't invite her. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, then the day before the birthday party, Amber, he texts Amber to remind her, hey, don't forget about the birthday party. And she says, well, I'm not going to come. So things like that he did push her. He did encourage her to do these things. And so she did them, and then Amber dropped the ball. But Amber blames Gary.
Like that. Then
I was feelings, or were you just kind of like used to it by then?
I guess I was just used to it.
I just want to let you know, like, it took me way into my adulthood and having my own children to be able to look at my mom and say, I don't want nothing to do with you. You don't help me in any way. If anything, you negatively affect my life. And it was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. So to see you at your age making those boundaries to protect your own mental health and your peace,
so wise behind her.
Like, that's huge.
That's so wise beyond her years to already be to that point. But she is in therapy. Nowadays, therapy is so accessible to, our children. Like back when I was young, like I don't even know if I knew about therapy until I got to much older. You know what I'm saying? And Catelynn probably said the same thing. Catelynn probably didn't even know about therapy or have access to it. But now, it's accessible to Leah, and she goes to therapy, which probably is where she can tell her feelings, and her therapist can say, well, you can do this. Like, you can set a boundary with your mom. You don't have to allow her in your life if she's going to, hurt you.
Huge.
So you don't have a relationship with your mom?
We took like a good year and a half break where I didn't talk to her. And I think I've opened up a little bit, but I set some really strict boundaries with her. But it's still weird. I don't think my mom and I will ever be normal. Ever.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
Yeah, and that sucks. You're doing hard work, and I don't even know if you realize it yet. But I'm proud of you.
Me too.
I'm glad they, because I'm sure Leah knows these are my mom's friends. These are the people that, flew in and planned her birthday party at my dad's house. These are the people that when my mom went to court with Andrew, they were by her side. So I'm sure she understands, like, these people are close to my mom, good friends with my mom. So listening to them, or them listening to me and how I feel, and then telling me that they did try to push her to be consistent, and that they're not okay with what she's doing, and that they, them just saying, like, we're proud of you. You're doing things that a lot of kids your age don't know to do. Or when we were your age, we didn't know to do. It took us, growing up. So anyways, I'm just so proud of these kids growing up. Gosh, like Leah growing up and being okay with not accepting that. You don't have to accept people in your life just because they're your mom, your dad. If they hurt you and they do nothing but bring pain, and every time you talk to them, they're trauma dumping on you, but they're not there for you, but they expect you to be there for or they never show up at all, except when they want something. That's not okay. And Leah knowing this, acknowledging this, and setting boundaries, it's awesome, but it's sad at the same time, obviously, because every child wants their mom in their life. So it's very sad that on next week's episode, it seems like she's going to be sending a message to her mom, letting her mom know, like, it's not my dad, it's my decision. So that's going to be interesting to watch next week's episode, and we'll talk about that as well next week after it airs. But I just wanted to hop on here and show you guys that clip where, God, it's been 16 years. Leah lived a few years of chaos, watching her mom being just crazy. Is Christina still adopting Leah? I think they decided not to move forward with it because Leah said they spoke to a lawyer, and the lawyer basically said, like, we could move forward if you guys want to, but Amber would probably uh, interject, not allow it, and so at that point, if Amber doesn't sign off on it, it would be a battle that could last years. And at that point, she'd be 18. If the battle lasted 2 years, she would be 18. No point in it, anyways. Once she turns 18, now once Leah turns 18, she can sign off to have Christina adopt her, which I think is, I would love to see that happen. That's just me. Do you think that's why Amber went nuts on TikTok? Maybe. Maybe. Because this was filmed months ago. Why does Amber keep saying she's waiting for Leah to come around and at the same time not putting any effort into? Yeah, she says that because Amber did not have a relationship with her mom for a while, but then Amber sought her mom out. So Amber thinks, I'm going to sit around and not trying. And when something bad happens in Leah's life, she's going to reach out to me. She'll come to me then, just like I did my mom. But that's not going to be what happens. The reason Amber went to her mom was because Amber had no one else. Amber's dad unfortunately passed away. I guess she could have called her brother, but her brother kind of sets her straight. Like her brother kind of like tells her things she don't always want to hear. So she had went like a year, as we saw in the episode today. Amber had went like a year without talking to her mom. But then when everything started happening with Leah, she decided to reach out to her mom to have someone to lean on. So I think she thinks that's going to happen. I think Amber thinks, oh, at some point something traumatic or bad will happen in Leah's life, and she'll come to me. She'll need her mom, But no, you want to know who Leah's going to go to when something traumatic happens in her life? Gary and Christina. That's who she's going to go to. Unless Gary and Christina is no longer available, no longer there, then she would probably go to Amber's brother or Amber's mom or Gary's mom or Christina's mom. Like she's Amber went to her mom because she doesn't have many people to go to. Leah will have way more people to go to. So that's why she says that. She thinks there will come a time where, where's Amber's brother? North Carolina, I think. Right. Just a girl from Phoenix. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Leah even said she saw the lives that she's done, and she can't imagine how she felt about what she said when it came to certain things she puts on Gary. Yeah. Well, tonight on the episode, Amber's mom went with Amber to therapy. And Amber has always tried to say she had a messed up childhood because her dad was an alcoholic. Yes, messed up. And that her mom was gone all the time, working to pay the bills. So that's her like horribly traumatic childhood. Her dad being an alcoholic, her and her mom and dad getting divorced. And then her sister did pass away from SIDS when Amber was like 5. Yeah, I'm sure that is traumatic. But she said she has like a super traumatic childhood that caused her all kind of issues. But I'm like, what about your daughter's childhood? She witnessed her mom physically attack her dad multiple times. She witnessed her mom going to jail. Her mom disappearing for 18 months. Then her mom disappearing, as she's 8 years old for 3 months. Your mom was gone because you were working. You were actually at the house. Your mom just didn't show up until midnight, and she had to get up and leave at 7:00 the next morning to go back to work. At least she was there. So that was something that was brought up in therapy in tonight's episode. Amber saying, I had a rough childhood. And the mom saying like that offends me. Like that bothers me. Maybe not in those words, but she said, well, that bothers me because like growing up, I had a traumatic childhood. Amber's childhood is traumatic because I was going working a lot. And the therapist did say like, Amber, do you understand why your mom had to be gone working a lot? She was like, well, yeah, I understand it now, but in the moment, it bothered me and it affected me. And he's like, yeah, I'm sure it did, but your mom wasn't gone because she wanted to be gone. She was gone working, to take care of you. And in that moment, when I'm hearing Amber complain about her mom being gone working, I'm like, but you're just gone 45 minutes down the street, or I don't even think it's that far, like 30 minutes on the road, sitting on your couch, entertaining different men and refusing to come to family dinners because you think you should be able to take your daughter with you. Like, your mom was gone working. Leah's mom is gone because she doesn't care to put an effort in. So how is that going to affect Leah? Your effect is so bad, Amber, but it's just the craziest thing. It was very interesting to watch Amber and her mom in therapy today, and her mom kind of call it out. Like, I was going for work. It wasn't like I was just lollygagging around or living my own life. I was working very hard to take care of her and her brother. I did see the pictures of Javi and Lauren's wedding. I did. She looked so beautiful. Sociopaths have no empathy for things they do and don't fear consequences. This is 100% Amber's personality, in my opinion. I was trying to hope Amber would get it together for years for Leah because I know she has many issues, but there's no excuse. I'm sure Leah saw that a long time ago. I have a little one, and I died trying. Same. Absolutely. Having a bad childhood is no excuse to be an adult victim the rest of your life. Like, it's time to take responsibility and quit blaming your childhood for everything. I agree. Christina's a nurse, I want to say. They're both on the show, so they make a decent living on the show. Christina's a nurse, I think. And then what else Gary was a cop at one point, but I don't think he is anymore. I need to reach out and ask, like, hey, what did they do again? But anyways, you guys, it's late. I've had a traumatic day. Since everything's trauma and traumatic, and I had a traumatic day today, and I've had a traumatic past few days. That's why I haven't been able to work much, because there's been so much going on in my life that it's prevented me from working. So, anyways, you guys, I'll be back tomorrow. We are going to, what was it we were going to talk about tomorrow? I don't remember, but I will be back tomorrow. And is Brian one of the mods? Yep, there's Bree. One of the mods, Bree's birthday, triple threat. Her birthday is tomorrow, so happy early birthday. But we will be back tomorrow. If you don't follow me on my other social media platforms, please check me out over on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. I'm trying to grow everywhere. So if you don't follow me, please do me a huge favor and hit the follow here and go follow me on my other social media platforms. I know it's off topic, but did you see I did see the trailer for the Honey Boo Boo biopic. I did. Bree said she's going to be gifting memberships tomorrow. So if you want to take a chance at getting a membership, make sure you're here tomorrow when we go live. Thank you so much, Bree. Bree's going to gift memberships to my channel for her birthday. Thank you. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Follow me here. Follow me everywhere else. Leave me your thoughts about Leah speaking up to her mom's BFFs about how her mom has made her feel abandoned for years, and she's just sick of it. She's not going to be a pawn in her mom's little game anymore. Come film when the camera's around. Come around. Come to my house when the cameras are there. Tell everybody you're a good mom when you're not. Love seeing Leah, speak the truth of how she feels. Leave me your thoughts about it, and I will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Bye, guys.